because we're programmed for instant gratification through sex, to overstimulate ourselves, to overstimulate our minds and our bodies, get to really high levels of arousal very quickly and quickly burn out our sexual energy by ejaculating early on during sex. Hey guys, I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life. If you want to learn more about sexual mastery, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified when I release new videos. Make sure you get my free ejaculation control course through the link in the video description below. So in this video, I want to talk about the peak orgasm versus the valley orgasm. And what this really is a short-lived genital orgasm, the ejaculatory orgasm for men, versus full body sustained states of orgasm. So as men, most of us have only really ever experienced one type of orgasm. At least we're only conscious of one type of orgasm, and that is the peak orgasm. A peak orgasm is a very short, very intense and concentrated experience of pleasure in just 5 or 10 seconds. It doesn't last very long. It's very intense, but it leaves you feeling depleted afterwards because in this type of orgasm, energy is leaving your body. Specifically, your sexual energy is leaving your body, and this is very apparent when you're ejaculating out your semen, which is a concentrated charge of sexual energy. And then there's this refractory period afterwards. You feel overly sensitive in your genital region. You can't usually get another erection. You have to recover, basically, right? It changes the hormone levels in your body. It makes you feel fatigued, a little brain fogged, depressed if you're really depleted. So this is the peak orgasm. And again, this is what most men, it's the only thing they've ever experienced, because this is the only type of orgasm we really learned about, as most of us learned about sex from porn. This is what we see in porn. We say, okay, this ejaculatory orgasm, it's like, it's the big finale. This is what we have to focus on. And you actually miss out on like 90% of the potential experience that you could be having. Let's talk about the valley orgasm. The valley orgasm is more subtle. It's not so apparent, right? And the thing is that, you can think of the peak orgasm as this really concentrated period of orgasm, all this pleasure, all this intensity concentrated into 5 seconds. Well, when you're having a valley orgasm, it's much, much more stretched out, so to speak. The pleasure is dispersed over a longer period of time, and it's also dispersed over your entire body often, right? And so in the beginning, it's easy to think that you're not actually having an orgasm because it's not as intense. But most men don't last long enough during sex to actually really build this up to a high enough level to where it becomes a very obvious, apparent, and powerful experience of orgasm, because we're programmed for instant gratification through sex, to overstimulate ourselves, to overstimulate our minds and our bodies, get to really high levels of arousal very quickly and quickly burn out our sexual energy by ejaculating early on during sex. And this often prevents us as men from ever experiencing this deeper state of orgasm, which is possible. So one of the biggest differences between the valley orgasm and the peak orgasm is that during the valley orgasm, energy is not necessarily being shot out of the body, depleting you, right? It's being moved internally. It's moving through your entire body. It's moving up your spine. It's moving through your organs. It's moving up into your brain. This brings you into a state of full body orgasm. And also the biggest difference between the peak orgasm and the valley orgasm is that during the valley orgasm, there's no release of energy. And this is one thing that we often get addicted to experiencing peak ejaculatory orgasm, is this feeling of release, because all this sexual tension builds up, all this sexual desire, and we want to get it out of our bodies. We want to release that desire, release that pressure, and we release all of it in an ejaculation, which is fine here and there, right? But if you do this every single day, you are literally throwing away your life force. So we get addicted to that sort of gratification that, I released my sexual energy, I have no more desire, I have no more arousal, so I have no choice but to stop. And that becomes what we associate with the end of sex. I couldn't possibly continue, so now it's time for me to stop. I think one of the biggest difficulties for men in transitioning to experiencing full body orgasms and valley orgasms, these internal, more energetic orgasms, is that there's no release. There's no point at which your, desire is gone, that your arousal is gone. You don't release that charge. You simply transform it a bit. It moves throughout the body and it builds, right? So you have to learn to be okay with finishing, a sexual experience without releasing all of your sexual energy, still having desire, still having some arousal, but learning to move that arousal and desire through your body to store it instead of releasing it. And the valley orgasm, also because it's so stretched out, because it's a bit more dispersed, we could say in the beginning, the pleasure, it's dispersed throughout the body, it's less intense. And there's no really apparent beginning, middle, and end. That's one of the biggest components of the peak orgasm, is like, when it's beginning, when you're in it, and then when it's over. It's very, very obvious. Versus the valley orgasm is a bit more wavy. It's a bit more, you'll have these subtle waves of pleasure which feel really good. And then, maybe your arousal goes back down a bit, and then you have another wave, you're in that for a while, maybe it lasts several minutes, and then your arousal goes back down a bit. So it's much more wavy. It's more of this state of orgasm, which you are simply in. Everything feels heightened. All the sensations in your body feel very pleasurable, very heightened. You may find yourself feeling intense emotions, deep emotions. You may feel yourself feeling very spiritually awakened and activated, because this is what happens when sexual energy and orgasm moves through your entire body. It starts to activate higher centers of your body. It starts to bring experiences which may be far beyond your normal daily experience. And you can also sustain this state of valley orgasm for very, very long periods of time. In fact, you can sustain it for hours when you really train and learn how to manage your ejaculation, learn how to manage your arousal level, and learn to open up your body so that you can hold this sexual charge without losing it, without ejaculating. And I really want to stress here how in this transition of moving from ejaculatory orgasms to non-ejaculatory orgasms and valley orgasms is that it's going to be a very, very different type of orgasm. It's not going to be the same as having an ejaculatory orgasm. That's what I expected when I was learning stuff. Like, okay, it'll be exactly the same as an ejaculatory orgasm, same intensity, same sensations without any fluid moving out. It's different. Again, it's more subtle in the beginning, but with training, as you learn to relax into this experience, stay fully present in the moment, not trying to force yourself into higher levels of orgasm or pleasure, but just simply feeling what is happening, slowing down a bit, allowing yourself to breathe and really be present with what's happening, you start to get into these profound experiences of full body orgasm, which can be much, much more intense than an ejaculatory orgasm, but much more sustainable because you're drawing out that pleasure slowly instead of basically moving your nervous system to maximum tension where it has to release an ejaculatory orgasm. And so now I want to share some practical ways how you can start to experience, this type of valley orgasm. So obviously the goal here is not to ejaculate. The goal is not to overstimulate yourself and get to this short-lived peak orgasm. The goal is to slow down. The goal is to increase awareness, increase sensitivity. And this is something that takes training. That's why I always encourage using Qigong practices, using meditation practices, using breath work practices, because they prepare you. They start to transform your mind and body, start to open energy channels, and start to help you develop a more conscious connection to what's happening in your body so that you can actually feel when you're having this type of subtle orgasm and then start to amplify it and not short circuit into an ejaculatory orgasm. So this is something you can practice either by yourself or with a partner. But basically what you want to do is focus on slowing down, keeping your breath really deep and relaxed, and really relaxing your mind and your body. You don't want to be projecting into, excessive amounts of fantasy and things like that. You want to be feeling what's happening in your body. And as your arousal starts to build, slow down the stimulation and relax your body. And here's a really simple way that you can start to feel a valley orgasm right away. Whether you're having sex with a partner or you're stimulating yourself, when you start to get about 70 to 80% of the way towards the point of no return, this is the point at which ejaculation is normally triggered, you'll notice that there's this tendency to want to tense up. You'll want to tense your pelvic floor muscles. You'll want to tense your body. You'll want to start breathing shallow. At this point, slow down the stimulation and focus on completely relaxing your pelvic floor. Like all the tension in the muscles there is melting away. This will take practice, but what you'll find is as you continue to stimulate slowly and you completely relax this area of your body, you'll start to feel this very intense sensation of oncoming orgasm, and that will start to spread into your belly. And instead of trying to push over into the next level, see if you can just sustain at this state, right? And if your arousal gets too high, stop stimulation or slow down, keep breathing deeply, but just pay attention to this intensity of something building and see if you can relax so deeply it starts to move up into your belly. It's the first place you'll probably start to feel it is this like butterfly type feeling in your belly. You might feel it start to move into other areas of your body as well. So that's something you can use right away to start experiencing this. And I will say from experience that it's much easier for me to get into full body states of orgasm when I'm having sex with a partner, but it's something that you can get into on your own as well. And it's great to train this on your own first without all the distraction, without the excessive stimulation of being with a partner. But of course, if your partner is open to it, this is something that you can start to explore together, this more relaxed and conscious approach of sex, which no longer has this goal-oriented approach of, trying to overstimulate each other into a short-lived orgasm, but trying to sustain and build that orgasm slowly over time and really just resting in that space. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to go really deep into this work and learn how to really channel sexual energy throughout your body, learn how to prepare your body to handle higher levels of orgasm and arousal so you can have non-ejaculatory orgasms and have sex for hours without ejaculating, check out my 12-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man. I'll put more information in the description of this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Have a great day, my friends.